education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The people's voice. Make your voice count.
In a world where power shakes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns. Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Arpelon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not playing at all, please discuss.
And it's Hakim Ziyech who puts the Atlas.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before. Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
we go to bed empty hunger.
To the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
Ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, Join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it dey hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Hi guys, you're welcome to Hashtags this week. Yeah, this week because unfortunately yesterday we couldn't hang out because of technicalities. Today again, I apologize for coming on board a little bit due to technicalities. We'll try to do better. On that note, I welcome you aboard again. If this is your first time, accept a very, very warm welcome from us. On that note, I am Vivian Oguche, and this is where we get to tell you all things trending and all things topical. So today we begin with the protest that rocked Lagos State today. Protesters actually stormed Ikeja, protesting forceful eviction and demolition. According to them, this has resulted to loss of lives and property. So I'm not just going to harmonize over this. Right? I'm going to take it to X. So you see a number of publications that have got the stories, Punch, Vanguard, all of them. We also have politicians like Rhodes Viver reacting to this story. A couple of videos for you too. So let's do this. Hashtag demolition protest. We begin with the post by the Punch, and the Punch says, let's take a look at it. Protesters demand justice for residents allegedly killed during Lagos evictions. Displaced residents in Lagos State staged a protest to demand justice for individuals allegedly killed during forceful evictions in their communities. The protesters said the victims were unlawfully shot during the eviction exercises, leaving families devastated and without accountability. They called for the prosecution of those responsible, compensation for the families of the deceased, and an end to alleged land grabbing. The protesters urged the government to intervene and ensure justice for the affected communities. Let's take a look at the next post. Okay, before we take a look at the reactions, there's another post that the Punch put up of protesters being tear gassed. Let's take a look at that video first before we take a look at the reactions. Residents protesting forceful eviction and demolition, being tear gassed by police security operatives. You can actually see this. I can tell you there's nothing to laugh about, but hey, this is how it's going down right now. Oh, this is how it went down in Lagos because the protesters have been dispersed so far. But there's another post I'd like for you to take a look at, reactions to this one, and then another one that Vanguard put up. But first, let's see how netizens are reacting to this particular one. Using processes. Pain like this deserves truth, not silence. Evictions expose weak accountability, but protests alone won't fix it. Educated voters, united action, and showing up at the polls force real justice in Nigeria. That's valid, I can tell you. Offend no one says, great to see residents advocating for answers and a brighter future. And then Creator says our Lagos is not their Lagos. Let's take a look at the next post. So Gbadebo Road's Viver says, this is an ADC chieftain, former LP chieftain. He says the new normal of APC in Lagos is to vandalize the living standard of the masses. They demolish with impunity what they lack the capacity to build, rendering hundreds of thousands homeless while budgeting billions for themselves for houses in Lagos, in Abuja. Lagos was the land of justice and equity. Mobolaji Johnson birthed it. Alhaji Jakonde nurtured it. But this is not the Lagos they envisioned. This is not the Lagos you deserve. And then he signs with his name. This sort of rhymes with what the last respondent said. Their Lagos, our Lagos is not their Lagos. But let's take a look at the next post now, shall we? That's going to usher us to the next video you're going to take a look at. So Vanguard newspaper says, activists gather at Ikeja Underbridge to protest ongoing demolitions in Makoko, Owodio, Nirin, and Oworoshoki. Take a look at the videos, guys.
Away from the noise.
I mean, let's go away from all of us to move to this side. Or I meant to want to move towards.
That looks like a huge crowd. I don't know if you're seeing what I'm saying. It is actually a huge crowd. And apart from the video we saw earlier on where protesters were being dispersed, you know, with the tear gassing and all of that, via tear gassing and all of that, it looked like it was largely peaceful based on what I'm seeing at the moment. But there's another video which I would like for you to see. It started with policemen guarding the spaces where these protests were going to go down. But before that, yeah, that's the video, right? Before that, netizens are reacting to that video that Vanguard put up. I'd like for us to take a look at the reaction to that particular video put up by the Vanguard. Newman says, no threat of hijacking this, but if it's about betterment of the country, the government will stop it. And then James says, no pity for them. Now, the reason why I wanted you to take a look at this comment first was because Newman is asking that there is no threat of these protests being hijacked. We've heard stories of protests being hijacked. Not too long ago, we heard that a peaceful protest that students embarked upon was hijacked by non-students and it turned violent. 2020 is a year you cannot forget in Nigeria. That was when the NSAS protest went down. Government said the peaceful protest was also hijacked. So Newman is saying that, so this one is not being hijacked, Abi. It's why I wanted you to take a look at the next video of policemen manning these spaces that the protesters were going to occupy. Let's take a look at that video now. Can you see that placard? Yeah, that's it. That is boldly written on it. End forced evictions. That's a mega placard, if you ask me. So the placards of, you know, with inscriptions like this is what you had the protesters as well as residents holding and chanting, you know, today in Lagos. Now, but what really caught my attention was the fact that the security operatives were at the front line it looked like they were leading the protest. It looked like they were part of the protest. And I guess that is the reason why, in this case, the protest wasn't hijacked. Now, we'll continue to see how this one pans out as people continue to react to forceful evictions and demolitions, particularly the one that just occurred at Makoko, the floating city, where a number of publications reported that there were loss of lives and property. On that note, let's take a look at another protest, but this time around in Anambra State. So it's a quick trip, right, guys, from Lagos to Anambra. And this time we are landing in Onitsha. Just yesterday, you heard how the governor was talking about Professor Charles Soludo, who said that he was going to close down the largest market in Onitsha for 1 week because the traders were observing the usual Monday sit-at-home tradition. Yeah, this started some way back, I think in 2021, August 9 precisely. It was IPOB that began this culture in solidarity to their leader, who was incarcerated, Nnamdi Kanu. Now, allegedly, IPOB has called it off, but it looks like it's still a tradition in the Southeast. So this time around, there was a massive protest yesterday, and today the residents decided, or the traders really decided to block a bridge, right? To show, according to them, they were going to show the governor that they are not backing down until the markets are open. But the governor is saying, you guys just obey the law. If you don't go to the market, it's going to be shut for 1 week. And if you don't go again, it's going to be shut for 1 month. So it is hashtag Governor Soludo versus traders. Let's do it. The first post is going to usher us to the first video. And then there's another post, and then there's another video, and then there are reactions to this particular one. Let's take a look at the first post, shall we? Hashtag Governor Soludo versus traders. Nigeria Stories has this one, and it says, protest against Governor Soludo has made market traders and residents block Onitsha head bridge in Anambra State. Yesterday, it was a market that was stormed by the traders and residents. Today, it is the head bridge. Take a look, guys.
Head bridge blocked. Onitsha to Asaba blocked. No way in, no way out. Onitsha to Asaba blocked. No way in, no way out. Stand still. Stand still.
Guys, take note that this happened this morning, and there is a development. In fact, respondents who were actually following this development responded to this one. So let's take a look at the reactions, right? Let's take a look at how netizens are reacting to this particular one. So, Okudili Chukura says, as of today, I can confidently tell that this is not their situation anymore. He put up this post at about 1 p.m. today. So this happened in the afternoon, that happened in the morning. And then Okudili goes on to say that this is head bridge by 1:30 p.m. today, and traffic is flowing, everywhere is calm, let's not spread misinformation. So this was in the afternoon, and that was in the morning. He put up this video, take a look. So that's the beauty of how it goes down on X. You know, people are reporting live. So you saw what happened in the morning. That wasn't misinformation. It actually happened. But then as at 1:30 p.m., when Okudili passed that same bridge, the protesters had been dispersed. But the governor is also talking tough, right? So I'd like for us to see the next post that's going to usher us into the next video. It is hashtag GovSoludo versus traders. Nigeria Stories again says, anyone who closes their shop, we will help them close it for 1 week. From next week, if they refuse to open by Monday, I will shut down the market. Governor Soludo is threatening. Now he's threatening to totally shut the market down, not even shutting it down for 1 month, indefinitely. That's a scary thought, right? This happens to be the largest market in that area. Now, why don't you take a listen to the governor yourself?
Prosperity. It is about our security. Because if you deny 20% of the work days in a year, you are dampening our prosperity. Jobs that need to be created, incomes that need to be earned. That's what this is about. And it should be simple enough to be understood by everybody. 2024, 2025 will be very patient, pleading. 2022, 2023, we are busy fighting all of this. 2026, we are turning on gear 4. Anybody that closes any of it will help you close it for the next week. If you like holidays, we help you. But going forward, we'll now come after and take those from you and give to those who are ready to use them. At least we'll have some powers in that regard. If your market cannot open because it is your private district, I also have powers to revoke your ownership of that place in public interest. And we are going to be deploying this in coming weeks. We are still open, we're open to some conversation. But as for keeping those shops open, there is no negotiation about it. It's either that they are open or we use them for something else. Main market for now.
Apologies for the poor quality of the coverage, amateur coverage. So that's how the governor is saying it. If you listen to it to the end of it, he's really threatening fire and brimstone. Netizens are responding. Let's take a look at a number of responses before we move on to the next hashtag. So Okocha FC says, I just think it's high time the people got back to working Mondays. I support this. Imagine in Aba that Mondays are now days for pool parties. And then Faith Chelsea says, pool parties. I don't know what that's about, but Faith Chelsea says, this statement sounds tough, but governors shouldn't feel like threats. Markets are full of human beings, not machines. Dialogue will always work better than force. You can't command productivity with fear. People open shops when business makes sense, not when they are intimidated. Senator Archie says, Mr. Soludo Governor, sir, why didn't you deploy the policemen to be on standby in the market on sit-at-home days for the protection of your people against an attack for them to come out? Do that first, and if people refuse to come out, you can then think of something else. Guys, do you understand what Senator Archie is saying? That some traders are actually scared. It's why they're sitting back home, because according to them, if they do not come out, they might be attacked. The Senator Archie is saying the governor should send security operatives to protect these traders, those of them that want to come out on Monday to trade. He should do that first before enforcing the law of no trading, no opening of market. You know, that's me paraphrasing. On that note, we'll wrap it up on hashtag Governor Soludo versus traders. Let's move on now to President Tinubu's trip to Nigeria. It comes under the hashtag, two hashtags under this particular topic. But the first one is hashtag securing Nigeria. So President Tinubu was seen giving a statement, sitting together with the president of Turkey, Erdogan, Recep Erdogan. They were sitting together and President Tinubu talked about Nigeria being surrounded by instability and insecurity. And he was calling on the people and the world to help secure Nigeria. So let's take a look at the post that's going to introduce us to the video. It is hashtag securing Nigeria. So Daddy D.O., who is a huge follower of the president, says, President Bola Tinubu gives his address after the bilateral meeting with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, alongside their ministers after the 9 agreements were exchanged between the officials of the two countries. So note, 9 agreements have been exchanged between Nigeria and Turkey. Daddy-O goes on to say, and he's quoting President Tinubu now, Nigeria is surrounded by instability and challenges. We have discussed efforts at terrorism, how we can defeat the elements of destabilization and banditry. We will work together to achieve that. Take it to the bank. You can bet on me that I will be there with you for democracy, freedom, and prosperity. End of quote. Take a listen, guys.
President Erdogan of Turkey, I want to say on behalf of Nigeria, the Federal Republic, thank you and the people of Turkey, the government, the reception, the openness, the warmness that you've accorded myself and the delegation since we got here. And thank you for listening here, willing to collaborate, willing to help, willing to work together to promote freedom, stability, and prosperity, shared prosperity across the world. What is very important to the two countries being discussed? Trade, business, avoidance of taxation, no restrictions, lowering a given opportunity to those who are ready to learn, work, and prosper. How do we build an inclusive economy together? That's what we discuss. How do we reform and get everybody, vulnerable people in particular, involved in our economy?
So the president is explaining to Nigerians what his trip to Turkey is all about. And he's looking quite fit there because there were stories about him tripping yesterday during, an inspection of a guard of honor. We are going to come to that later. But that's him looking very, very hale and hearty. And of course, Nigeria has signed about 9 agreements with Turkey in the area of stabilizing the Nigerian economy as well as securing the nation. So we'll take a look at the next post now, shall we? Let's take a look at the next post. So these are responses to that hashtag, that particular video. Azibolat says, this partnership between Nigeria and Turkey is a game changer. Strengthening ties and security, trade, and education will pave the way for real progress and prosperity in the region. Kudos to Presidents Tinubu and Erdogan for this forward-thinking collaboration. And Saddam says he speaks with authority. He's talking about PBAT, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We'll take a look at the next post now, shall we? And this is Olobomitun Jojo, who accompanied the president. And it goes on to say, I accompanied president at official ABAT, Tinubu, GCFR, on his visit to the Republic of Turkey, where I held on the sidelines productive talks with Interior Minister at Ali Yelkaya, focusing on enhancing cooperation in security, law enforcement training, and countering irregular migration, with a strong emphasis on combating terrorist organizations. We explored avenues for mutual benefit, leveraging our bilateral relationship to drive progress in these critical areas. Guys, you do know that Olobomitun Jojo is Nigeria's Interior Minister, and that's him briefing his immediate constituents. Now, we move on to the next hashtag, which is related to President Tinubu. It is hashtag not the first time. So a number of people are reacting to the story that went viral yesterday, how President Tinubu tripped when he was inspecting a guard of honor alongside President Erdogan of Turkey. Now, I just want to take you to X. Let me take you to X. So you see the posts and the videos that netizens are putting up. It was a whole lot yesterday with so many people saying this is a reflection of how Nigeria is. But take a look at this first post and what this netizen, who also is a Nigerian, happens to say about this particular hashtag. Hashtag not the first time. Let's take a look at it. Kennedy Wandera says, Kennedy Wandera? Wandera sounds South African Kenyan. But hey, Kennedy says Nigeria's president, Bola Tinubu, 73, is seemingly struck by a camera's tripod. That's what Kennedy is saying. And he put up a video. You're going to take a close look at it. It was a cameraman's tripod, Kennedy says, that struck President Tinubu. So I'll start all over. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu, 73, seemingly struck by a cameraman's tripod, trips and falls during a reception in Ankara, Turkey. His office says he missed his step very briefly. Another official says that Tinubu stepped on a metal object, which made him lose his balance, and it was not a big deal. In 2024, Tinubu missed his step and fell while walking into a vehicle during the Democracy Day celebrations at Eagle Square in the capital, Abuja. He later joked that it was just swagger, arguing that the public was confused about whether he was doing the popular Buga or Babariga. So you judge for yourself, right? What exactly happened? Is this a commentary or a testimony on President Tinubu's fitness or not? You be the judge, right? And then you will take a look at the video. Tell us what you think in the comment section on YouTube. I'll appreciate that. Take a look at the video that Kennedy put up. So credit to the New York Post for that video, and it gave us a very, very clear angle of exactly what happened. Can you take a look? Thank you, Director, for giving us a closer look at this. I want for the viewer to take a look at it now. Take a look at that cameraman behind him, and it happens. Oh my gosh. So that's how it went down. Another post that's going to be coming up shortly is going to show us that this is not the first time a president is falling. In fact, this netizen pulled up a video of videos of Barack Obama, former U.S. president, Joe Biden, former U.S. president, Donald Trump, current U.S. president, and of course, Raila Odinga, former prime minister of Kenya, how they all stumbled, you know, one way or the other. Let's take a look at that post, and then we'll take a look at these videos I just reeled out. You know, it's a number of them. So let's take a look at the post. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. Babangida Jamari says, Tinubu not the first and will not be the last. I don't know why Nigerians are always behaving like this. It's nothing if President Tinubu stumbles because he is not the only leader who stumbled. As a human being, this thing is normal. But is it really normal? Is the billion-dollar question some netizens are asking. Take a look at the videos that Babangida Jamari put up. Joe Biden, former president of the U.S. Let's roll it again. What tripped me most, what caught my fancy, so I didn't want to use the word trip, was what he did. He fell over and over and over again, but he got to the top of the steps and just did a gallant salute. That's how to do it, guys. You know, take a look at it. Oh, it's beautiful to watch. I say when life gives you lemon, you do what? You turn it into lemonade. Let's take a look at the next video now, shall we? And that is President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. So you see, he quickly caught himself. He tripped. That was him climbing the Air Force One. I think, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but he quickly caught himself and he continued. So when you fall, you stand up and you continue. That's how it's done. Even the Bible says the righteous fall 7 times and they rise up again. But hey, in this case, we are not going back biblical, just for the record. Let's take a look at the next video now. That will be of Barack Obama. Yeah, like I said, that was Barack Obama, former U.S. president. You see, former U.S. president, this is Barack at his prime, looking very fit and all, but he stumbled, right? So it happens. The last one is not very obvious, but hey, he looks very shaky. I'm talking about former Prime Minister of Kenya, Raila Odinga. Is the last one you're going to watch. That's him. Take a look.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, former Prime Minister of Kenya, Raila Odinga, didn't really fall for us to see. The camera didn't capture it, but he was staggering around. You see, he was staggering around and it looked like he was going to trip, and his aides quickly rushed to him and held onto him. So do you think people actually hold up leaders, politicians, and celebrities to a larger than life standard? Or do you think these people are also human beings and who actually are liable to fall and trip at one point or the other? Now, but why do you think Nigerians were celebrating when their president fell, tripped over a tripod in another country? Why do you think Nigerians, a majority of them, were celebrating? Could it be that it is a reflection of how the nation is right now? Could that be a reflection of the state of the nation, that the people are actually not happy? I think these are the questions that the authorities should be asking. And if that is the case, then the authorities definitely have got a tall order. Get your acts together and ensure that the people are on board and very happy with the authorities. It's all I can say right now. We move on to the next hashtag now, which is hashtag Atiku. I'm talking about former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. So a couple of days, the ADC Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi launched a book. He called it The Loyalist. It was a convergence of a political juggernaut. Pardon my grammar. But hey, lots of people attended. Atiku Abubakar was also there. He put up a video. But first, before we take a look at the video and the reactions, let's take a look at the post that Atiku Abubakar himself put up. Shall we? It is hashtag Atiku, who is celebrating ADC Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi. So Atiku, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar says, it was a great pleasure to join other leaders and patriots at the public presentation of the autobiography of Bolaji ADC titled The Loyalist earlier today in Abuja. He said, so this wasn't today, this was a couple of days ago. And then he goes on to say, Bolaji, the spokesman of our party, is undoubtedly one of Nigeria's brightest young minds, the future of our country. The event brought us together in our diversity. Indeed, our diversity remains a strength. With the precarious state of our nation, we have the opportunity in the ADC to harness such diversity for peace, progress, and inclusive opportunities for all citizens. The question of loyalty addressed in the book is critical. A loyal citizenry is the foundation of our nation's prosperity. AA. Take a look.
Loyalty embraces diversity of thought and protects the dignity of every citizen. I think as leaders and aspiring leaders, this is what we should bear in mind about lessons for leadership and public service. Leaders build trust through consistency, candor, and compassion. Loyalty begets loyalty. Much more positively, the development or political development of our country is the emergence of this coming together of various political leanings to rescue this country from, I think, the worst administration I have witnessed in my nearly 4 decades in politics. not even the military dictatorships before democracy or in 1999 have bastardized our national life and consciousness as this administration has done.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar delivering a speech at the launch of The Loyalist, a book authored by ADC Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi. Netizens are responding to this post and the video that the former vice president put up. Let's take a look at their reactions, shall we? The first one is coming from who now? Cruise Alone. Cruise Alone says to His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, loyalty shouldn't only be demanded from citizens, but demonstrated by leaders. I think those in power should be more accountable or should be held accountable more for their actions rather than just telling their unending loyalty from the commoners. Let me take that again. I think those in power should be held more accountable for their actions rather than just their unending loyalty or demanding. Yes, I think that's the word that's missing there. Rather than just demanding unending loyalty from the commoners. The next post, let's take a look at it. Buva says, well said. Leadership grounded in ideas, character, and service is exactly what Nigeria needs right now. Bolaji's work reflects the kind of intellectual depth and civic responsibility we should be encouraging, especially among young leaders. Diversity when guided by purpose and loyalty to the people. Young leaders. Diversity when guided by purpose and loyalty to the people, not personalities, can truly become our strengths. Wishing the ADC and all committed patriots the wisdom to turn these words into lasting progress. The next one. So this is Oladipupo, who says, Atiku Abubakar, relatable, indefatigable, very presidential. And he says, facts. The next one. Honorable Nuhu Sada says, a timely reminder. Nations rise when citizens stay loyal to justice, unity, and the common good. One final one now, and this netizen is congratulating the author on this very huge achievement. This is Kanoblog. Kanoblog says, congratulations to Malam Adbolaji ADC on this great achievement. Writing The Loyalist is not just a personal milestone, but a contribution to Nigeria's political history. A true intellectual and a committed patriot, wishing him more strength in the struggle for a better Nigeria. All right. Also in attendance was Peter Obi, who is also an ADC chieftain. Talking about Peter Obi being an ADC chieftain, he was in Abuja today campaigning for the ADC aspirants in the upcoming chairmanship election. I think that's slated for February, not less than a month from now, this year. And there was a lot about his campaigning, and people were saying, this is how it should be done. Not for me to tout or not for me to blow his trumpet. I'm going to take you to X now, so you take a look at the first post and then the second post and then a couple of videos. It is hashtag Peter Obi. Let's do it. So this is Peter Obi rallies thousands for ADC in FCT markets, is the title of this post. And it says on Wednesday, Peter Obi drew massive enthusiastic crowds to Abaji and Zuba in Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory, supporting African Democratic Congress ADC candidates ahead of the February 21 area council elections. He joined Dr. Moses Paul, the ADC chairmanship hopeful for Abuja Municipal Area Council, pushing for governance that serves everyone amid ADC's challenge to the ruling All Progressives Congress. The organic rallies highlight Obi's shift from Labour Party to ADC. His enduring appeal with the obedient movement and building momentum for local polls and the 2027 presidential race, even as party leaders call for unity. Let's take a look at the next post. So this is Esther Moore. Esther Moore is Peter Obi's official campaign photographer. And she said, Peter Obi in Zuba. She put up these videos. Take a look, guys.
children.
You're welcome, sir. We are delighted to have him in our midst as the Motor Spare Parts Dealers Association. Baba, you are welcome, sir. Motor Pass, PPP. Motor Pass, PPP. Your Excellency, you are welcome.
That is a huge crowd, I can tell you. Peter Obi rallying traders in Abuja ahead the February municipal elections. This is him campaigning on the platform of the ADC. And lots of people are saying this is a very huge shift from the Peter Obi of the LP to the Peter Obi of the ADC now. Number of reactions to this particular hashtag, this particular post, this particular video, him in Zuba, Peter Obi in Zuba. Let's take a look at netizens reacting to this particular outing, shall we? The first one is from J. Dreads, who says, Peter is a movement. He is undisputable. He is a winner. He is a daddy. He is a baba. He is my president. He is the future. And Brigante says, I thought at Dr. Mopol was contesting as AMAC chairman. What is at Peter Obi doing in Zuba? No, that Zuba is under Gwagwalada. Abi no big campaign he go do. Well, he was in Zuba, but before Zuba, he was in Abaji. The Abaji tour was in the morning. And of course, Esther Omo has that post as well as a number of videos, So he actually went to Abaji to campaign for Dr. Mo. Let's take a look at the post that Esther put up. That's going to lead us to the video she also put up regarding Peter Obi's visit to Abaji to campaign for his longtime ally, Dr. Mo. Esther Omar again says Peter Obi in Abaji, Abuja this morning. She put up these videos. Credit goes to her. Take a look, guys. That is Peter Obi. Take a look. That is Dr. Mo. We're spotting the orange T-shirt and, of course, the green carb beside Peter Obi. Peter Obi campaigning for Dr. Mo ahead of the municipal election in Abaji come this February. Quickly, let's take a look at the reactions before we wrap this up. If we can do this speedily now as we continue to cruise control to the very end. Let's take a look at the reactions to this particular one. Shall we do it? Yes. Esther Omoy again. Okay. Looks like that's how we wrap it up. Unfortunately, we can't pull up the reactions, but of course, netizens are reacting favorably to this particular hashtag Peter Obi. On that note, we wrap it up. Thanks to everyone who contributed to making the show a success. But a bigger thanks goes to you guys for watching. If you liked it, keep a date again with us, same time, same station for another edition of Hashtags. Until then, I am Vivian Oguche, and bye for now.
Ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In a world